it's two things. It's first, it's there are two things, two key things, apart from text. If you have text, that helps, but we usually don't have text. The key thing is to have what I call a rights-bearing precedent. In other words, a precedent that reads the Constitution as creating a right, an individual right. It's a major social and psychological disorientation to have people enjoy rights for a period of time and then take those rights away. Much more significant, I think, in the life of a culture than to say you never had the right at all. That once women lived a generation being able to control their reproductive lives, to then turn around and say to their daughters that you no longer have that right, strikes me as being an extraordinary, and in fact the Supreme Court faced that exactly in 1992. That's why they didn't overturn Roe. There were 5 votes in 1992 in a case called Planned Parenthood to overturn Roe. 3 of the justices said, if we had been on the court when Roe was decided, we think Roe was wrong. But it's there, it gives people rights, and for us to take it away just because we think it's wrong would be a violation of how we think the system should work. This Souter, and it's a beautiful opinion written by Justice Souter about the importance of rights-bearing precedent. But so, for me, the untouchable Constitution is the confluence of rights-bearing precedent and a case in which both autonomy and equality line up in the same direction, which is why Ruth Ginsburg's brilliant reinterpretation of Roe is so important. Ruth Ginsburg has argued in recent years that Roe is not about the hedonistic autonomy of the woman to simply do whatever she wants, even if it means snuffing out an incipient life. She said that's not what it's about. She said what it's really about is the ability of women to be equal in the society. You cannot have women's equality if women are unable to regulate their reproductive lives. She had this wonderful analogy. She said it's like a basketball game. Suppose life is a basketball game. The guys are on the court all the time, shooting and scoring points. If the women have to come off the court periodically and sit on the bench to have babies and then go back onto the court, they're never going to score as many points as the men. So the only way that you can have equality is to allow the women to control their reproductive lives in the same way the men do. Viewed that way, Roe advances both autonomy, the woman's autonomy, and equality. And if you have a rights-bearing precedent and the lineup of those two values, the court will not overturn it. It may erode it underneath, but it will not overturn it.
As indeed happened.